Hey, look, here we are. It's time for Ask a John Parks workshop. Sorry, I had some things go haywire on me there. I'm not used to doing the show at this time. You may be surprised to see me here because wait a second, what's this? This is not your usual Ask an Engineer. So yeah, Charles Burniford over in the YouTube chat just said, "What the heck? Why are you here?" So we're moving. Adafruit is headed to Brooklyn, actually to Industry City, and during this sort of very involved move time, Phil and Limor are a bit predisposed, so they asked if I could fill in for a few weeks. So here I am. I'm going to do what is usually my Thursday show, which is John Parks Workshop, during this time slot, and it'll be an amalgam of sorts. So I'm going to do some typical John Parks Workshop stuff. I'll do a couple little segments that you're more used to seeing in the Ask an Engineer. Yeah, Ask a Maker. Jordy G just said we could call it that. I'm no engineer, but here I am. So since I'm doing some of the, I'll go over some of the Learn guides and some new products, some videos. I decided to set up my blue screen. In this case, I've got you can probably see the blue light reflected back on my hand there, and it'll disappear as I get too close. So that's not actually there at all. I'm just in a void, but we've still got a workshop back there. I'm just going to have to dance around the blue screen a bit. So let's see. What have we got for today? I have a coupon code for you. So a lot of people like to get some new stuff on a Wednesday, and they want to get a little bit of a discount on that. So this is no exception. You can do it right here today with No Sleep Till Brooklyn. That is your coupon code. That'll work not until they get to Brooklyn, but that'll work for about 24 hours or so. So type that in on the Adafruit website. When you head on over, let me bring up the site right now. When you head on over here, this should look like it. Yeah, there's the site right there. Go look for some stuff. We're going to talk about some new products, but if you, let's say you want to pick up one of these here, USBC vertical breakout boards that Liz designed, you can throw that in your cart, and maybe some other stuff to justify shipping. But on your way out, you'll just look for that coupon code slot and fill in that right there. No-sleep-till-Brooklyn. And that will get you 10% off on any cool things that you can get in the store. It will not work on gift certificates, on subscriptions, on software. So none of that conceptual stuff, just physical bits, if atoms. If you buy things that can be put in a box and sent, then that'll work. That'll get you the 10% off. And since I'm talking about the store here, I'm going to put the coupon code away for a minute there. But since I'm talking about the store, the other thing I would love to mention is you can get some free stuff if you buy enough. So all you got to do is go to adafruit.com/free so you can see what's headed your way. These good things. So if you spend, scroll down a bit here, $99, not $100, $99 or more, you'll get the free PCB coaster with the gold Adafruit logo on it. If you spend $149 or more, you will get a free KB2040 keyboard microcontroller, and you'll get the coaster. If you're in the United States, in the continental United States, you can get free UPS ground shipping if you spend $199 or more, and you're also going to get the, it stacks up, you get the other two. Finally, if you spend $300, no, I lied, $299. If you spend $299 or more, you're going to get the Circuit Playground Express for free. You will get the free continental shipping in the United States with UPS ground. You will get the KB2040, and you'll get the coaster. So those are some nice freebies if you spend a bunch. But any way you slice it, you're going to get 10% off if you put that in the coupon field on the way out. So that's your coupon code for today and sort of part of tomorrow. It should disappear, turn itself off sometime in the next 24 hours or so. No sleep till Brooklyn. That's your coupon code. Now, also things to talk about. I have a show I do on Tuesdays. My gosh, that was just yesterday. Usually there's a little more separation between these things, temporally speaking. But nope, that was yesterday. And on that show, it's the JP's product pick of the week. I go over some new product or products. This was 4 of them. It was a big one. I don't think we've ever done 4 at once before, have we? 4 products related. Got a big discount, 50% off. And I have a little recap of that to show you right here, right now. So take it away, me, from yesterday. These are my product picks of the week this week. They are the aluminum swirly mounting grids. So these are fantastic for mounting your microcontroller dev boards, your sensors, your Stemma QT things, your Stemma stuff, your NeoPixel boards, what have you, all onto a neat sort of modular grid system. This is a little Hammond enclosure. It's one of their smaller sort of stomp box enclosures. 10 by 2 that I bent. So I just put this into a vise and bent it over, bent it over a couple times to make this sort of U shape. And you can see it's mounted to the case. Could add some more components in there. And then I used some more clear heat shrink to connect it to the board. So that's not going anywhere. They are aluminum swirly mounting grids. Yep, that's what they are. I'm not used to doing the show on a green screen, so it's easy to get too many of myself here at the same time. Yes, they are cool as a decoration. Over in our Discord chat, Moo Man says they do look cool as decoration. By the way, speaking of the Discord chat, that's it right there. So who am I talking to all this time? It's you. And I've got my eyeball over on the YouTube chat. Charles Bernaford's there, Jordy G, George Grapes, hello, thanks for joining. But the main place our chat is happening, if you're watching on some other service that we stream on and you're wondering where is everybody, this is the place to be right here. This is Adafruit's Discord. You can get there by going to adafru.it/discord. And you'll look for the live broadcast chat channel. Oh, look, usually I'm not in front of the thing. I'm still mirrored backwards, so my mind will explode. But that right there, that's the one you want, live broadcast chat channel. And there we've got Spacey Cadet, Some Nice, and Todd Bot, Mouse, Moo Man. Thank you for stopping by, heading into the show. There's Jordy G there as well. And thank you for everyone who came by the show and tell. So we just ran the show and tell show earlier. If you want to participate in those, we do those every Wednesday. It is the, we think, longest running maker, engineer, hacker show and tell on this entire internet. And all you have to do is pop into the Discord or check the blog. We'll have a link right there, and the StreamYard link will get you in. You just need a webcam and a mic. You can also share screens, share other cameras if you want to show off your projects. Let's see, what do we have? I won't remember all of these because I took no notes, but Maker Melissa was showing some of the web workflow for CircuitPython, new features. She's been cleaning it up and making it work even better. And we had Scott showing some Matter, Circuit Matter. Jeff showing some IPv6 stuff. Then who else? Chris came on and showed off. I'll show this actually in a second in the Learn Guide recaps. A really neat assistive technology device that uses the TRS Trinky as well as a little OLED screen. Who else was on? We had Boyan Mitov to show some PS2 workflow with his Visuino software, drag and drop node-based connections. Let's see, Todd Bott was on with a pretty cool little Korg oscilloscope and spectrum analyzer and other sort of useful tools built into it for checking out your synthesizer stuff, and some new features, some interface features for one of his synthesizers that he sells up on Tindy. We had, I don't want to forget the names, Ezra and Samson, I believe, showing a really cool looking OpenMote, openmote.io. I think that's the website for it. Is a drop-in replacement PCB for a Wiimote. And I said I've got a lot of these, right? I actually saw one back here. I do have a lot of these. This one actually has the added motion controller on the bottom. I think you don't need that with their drop-in replacement because they've got a 6-axis IMU on there, which is some of the role that this little add-on played, was to give you better spatial sensing. So they're going to be putting that up on Kickstarter or Crowd Supply, and it'll be a drop-in replacement. They're going to open source it eventually as well, they say, and that'll give you Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and infrared. I'm excited about those things to use it as a general remote. And let's see, who else was on? Why did I take no notes? If anyone wants to remind me, apologies if I missed anyone there. I feel like there was someone else, but if not, that was the show and tell, and you can catch that every Wednesday, and we have it archived, so you can go to the YouTube pretty much immediately after the show. You can rewatch it. It should be available up on our YouTube channel. So go check out the show and tell. Let's see. Next up, what did I want to do? Hey, let's jump into a CircuitPython Parsec. That's something we do here.
CircuitPython
Okay, let me just get set up here a little bit because I've got a kind of different camera setup going on. And I'm going to search for my code window. There you are. Okay, what is this? What are we talking about? Okay. In the CircuitPython Parsec today, I want to talk about using the settings.toml file along with CircuitPython to store variables, global settings, and more. So you may be familiar with the settings.toml file. It is a file that can live on your CircuitPython drive, and often it's used to contain your Wi-Fi credentials, SSID and password, and any other internet-based service credentials, username, passwords, such as you can see my example here. I've got an Adafruit.io username and the Adafruit.io key. But it's not limited to that. You can also use it to store global settings that you want to use in other codes. So this is just a simplified example here where you can see my settings.toml file has a variable in here called username, and it equals this string. I've got another one, I called it organization, another string. We can also do floats and integers. Here's a variable called floor, and it's this integer value. And now if we look at my code, what I'm going to do is just resave this so it'll rerun. And down in my REPL, you'll see when my code launched, it said, hey, welcome, John J.P. Park. Enjoy your stay at Larsco, floor 14. So the way I'm doing this is simply by importing OS. Once you've imported OS, you can use the getenv command. So os.getenv, and then any of those variable names that lived over in settings.toml. So you can see here was username. I'm getting that with os.getenv username in quotes. Then I'm printing os.getenv organization name, that was Larsco. And then I'm actually, just to show that this is really an integer, I'm doing some math here. So I'm saying we're on floor, whatever that environment variable of floor is, plus 1. And so that is how you can store settings and credentials and variables inside of your settings.toml file to use with CircuitPython. And that is your CircuitPython Parsec.
The CircuitPython Parsec.
Yes, someone asked, I think, in the chat, or just pointed out, C. Grover pointed out, this stands for Tom's Obvious Minimal Language. I think it originally stood for something else, and he changed it at some point. I think it was markup language. Anyway, it went through some iterations, but yeah, TOML files are meant to be very human, readable, parsable. Originally, Tom's own markup language. Thank you for posting that. Yeah, Tom's own markup language. But yeah, TOML are very Python friendly, very human readable for setting up different types of configuration files primarily. And so that's what we're using. You may be familiar with secret.py or secrets.py, which we used to use to store similar stuff, but we've made the move over to settings.toml. I'm not sure if secrets.py will work anymore with more recent versions of CircuitPython either. So yeah, that's settings.toml. Kind of neat if you want to store some little, we get this question a lot. People are saying, hey, I got some config that I want to store kind of separate of my main code file. This is one way you can do that sort of thing. All right, let's see, next up, what are we going to do here? I've got, oh yeah, okay, how about this? Let's do some, ooh, that went weird. Where did that, I think I minimized a window I'm trying to show. Where'd you go? Aha! All right, let me get myself in front of this thing here. Yeah, let's do a Learn Guide recap. So we've had a few new Learn Guides since last week. And here they are. So you can see, I believe this was new since last week. We'll start at the bottom here and work our way up. We have the MP3 playback with CircuitPython guide from Jeff Epler. So this shows you how to play back MP3 files inside CircuitPython for cases where you have limited storage and you don't want to use the rather large WAV files. WAV are nice because they require minimal decoding to play back, but MP3 is a lot trickier. So Jeff has worked on this. Go ahead and open this file here. This guide here that shows you how you can use the compressed audio files, unpack them or decode them, stream them, and you can see here he's also got this nice example of a sort of Winamp style player that is playing back the MP3 files. So there's a few different platforms you can run it on hardware-wise, and this will take you through that. So go check that out if you're interested in doing some MP3 playback. We have a few new guides from Liz, product guides. So there's an infrared IR remote transceiver guide. And this one, we've got a few of these different boards. We have emitter boards, we have receiver boards. This one is a transceiver board, so it actually has both the emitter and the receiver on it. I believe it has one receiver and it has a pair of emitters facing both up off the board and out the bottom there you can see here. And this is for things like being able to transmit IR signals from one device to another device around a corner. I don't know if you remember back in big home theater installation days, there were all kinds of solutions to being able to control devices in closets and things like this. So this can do that sort of stuff. I believe you can also, if you check out CircuitPython and Arduino examples, do things like massaging your data. If you've got one remote that you want to be able to receive but then send different codes out, this can be used for that, since it's got both transmitter and receiver built right on board. So cool new product. I haven't used it yet, so I'm guessing a little on some of the use there, but I'd like to try out some stuff with that. Then next up we have this guide from Chris Young on using the TRRS Trinky as an assistive technology device, and Chris was just on the show and tell showing this in action, or talking about the guide. So if you want to go, you can see Chris talk about that. Speaking of action, he said he's got 3 YouTube videos up, and I believe they're in the guide here as well, that show this in action. This is a Trinky, which is one of our small microcontroller boards that plugs right into USB-A ports. This one plugs in and then gives you a small microcontroller. In this case, I believe it's is it an RP2040 or is it M0? This one might be an M0. I can't remember anymore. What are you? Can I see it? Can I zoom in close enough? Oh, that's not a very big one. AtSamD, yeah, it's AtSamD21, so it's the M0. The interesting feature on this one is that it has a tip ring sleeve, TRRS 3.5 millimeter port on it, so you can plug in a cable that has those 4 conductors on it, which are usually used for things like gaming headsets, where you have stereo speakers that's taking up 2 of the conductors, and a microphone taking up the 3rd, and one is the common or ground. So these are great to hijack for a nice 4-conductor wire to use for assistive technology things. So you can plug in 3 buttons into this, or a button and an analog potentiometer type of device. But in Chris's case here, he's got 3 buttons, which can be any type of assistive technology buttons, allowing you to use a virtual mouse. So the TRRS Trinky acts like a HID mouse and a HID keyboard, so you can send it commands that you've picked from this screen. And if we scroll down in the emulator section here, you can see a little better there. So these are selection screens, so you can use buttons to find the letter you want and then hit send, or find the mouse direction you want to move in, or page up, page down, macros, control keys. And you can see here it's been augmented to use an OLED screen. So the Trinky is in here, has a little cable extending it to your computer, and then the assistive device plugs in at the bottom here. So very cool new guide from Chris. And then another couple of the new product guides from Liz. This is the RS-232 PAL. And I am planning on getting one of these and playing around with this, because it's useful for older devices that speak RS-232 serial, being able to connect those up to modern devices. So this is a transceiver. It can go either direction with RS-232 serial to whatever on the other side with your microcontroller. And then there's a precision temperature and humidity sensor, also from Liz. This is the HDC 3021. So new board there. You can see it's got the little carve out on the PCB to keep it from getting hot. So it's isolated there. And this is a high precision temperature humidity sensor. Plugs in over Stemma QT into any of your microcontroller projects. That's an I2C device. Stemma QT is just a convenient little no solder solution with a tiny little cable. And then last up we have the USB-C dock. I'll show a movie of this in action in a moment, but this is a Ruiz Brothers project that allows you to use the vertically mounted USB-C connector to stick your microcontroller boards onto a nice little stable platform on your desk, and then run out a second USB-C to the computer that you're plugged into. Could also use it for charging applications, and a nice little 3D printing project there with the case on there. So yeah, that covers it. Those are our new Learn guides. And then I also wanted to show in our playground section. So anytime you're on the Adafruit site, you can head to Learn, and you'll see in this banner section there's a playground button. If I click on that, you can see new playground pages, which are essentially like Learn guides, but anyone with a Adafruit sign-in can go and create a page. So there's, I think, a full Learn guide on how to use these if you want more info, but it's also fairly self-explanatory. And some new ones since last week. I believe these are the newest ones. So Cam Test Pi Cowbell Camera Breakout Demo from Sam Blenny. Also virtual display over web serial. This is pretty cool. This shows you how to use a USB camera descriptor with your device so that your microcontroller with a camera can show up like a webcam. So this will allow you to pass images to your computer, and that will get you set up with that. Mr. Klingon, aptly named, has a tricorders project using some Circuit Playground Express, I believe. These are Circuit Playground Express. So you can check these out, and there's a link to the repository if you want to get the code. And then we have a couple of projects from C. Grover about weather, using weather applications. There was a previous one I believe we already covered on using OpenWeather. This is the Supremium one, which uses AIO plus weather. So that's a paid one. We have AIO, Adafruit IO, which is free. There is a premium subscription you can do with Adafruit IO Plus, and this now has the ability to use the weather service as laid out here by Cedar Grove Maker. So you can check this out if you are interested in setting up a more advanced weather device. And then this one snuck in here. This was not here earlier, I think. Anne has an MS-DOS disk images playground. So this is part of Anne's continued vintage computing exercises. So if you're interested in checking out MS-DOS disk images, this has all sorts of details on how they work, where to get disk images. You can use them with emulation. I believe there's even an emulator now on iOS, so these may be useful for that. So loads and loads of info there on your vintage MS-DOS disk images. All right, so let's see what else is next. Let me check back in with the chat here and see what's going on. I'll bring up the there's the Discord there. Oh my gosh, there's so many of me there. That's a little easier to look at. Anybody know when HDMI will go out of patent? That's a good question. I don't know. That's fairly recent, isn't it? In theory, you could have two potentiometers if you're willing to give up the button. So I think this is in reference to the TRRS Trinky. I don't know if you can, oh, maybe you're talking about the button. No, I'm not sure. So on the TRRS, you've got 4 conductors, but one of those is ground. So a potentiometer would be 2 of sorry, you'll need ground and you'll need, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, you'll need ground and you need voltage. So that's the voltage divider. Could you share those? Maybe you can. Maybe you can do 2 potentiometers. Did I break my brain? Someone in the chat, maybe you've already said it, right? Jordy G, I have to think that one through. Can you do that? Yeah. So then you could do a joystick, right? X, Y. I think that's right. Maybe I've even done that. Things to ponder. I think that's right. Okay, moving on. Let's see, any questions over in the YouTube chat? Can you integrate relay adapter that is about between? I don't know what Maybe you can elaborate on that, Victor4 over in the YouTube. I'm not sure what the question is there. All right, so moving on, let's take a look at a couple of videos that we have. So we've got our 3D Hangouts. Jordy's saying haha as I... 2 potentiometers and HDMI. You know, I think there's a lot of spare wires in an HDMI cable. I think you can do weird hijacky things and send bizarre stuff around. Okay, let me stop looking at that. I'm distracted. So we have a 3D Hangouts show that happens on Wednesday mornings. Ruiz Brothers run, and one of the features they do on there that I really look forward to is a time-lapse build. So let's run a time-lapse build, and then I will jump straight into their USB-C dock project video. So here you go.
You can build a simple USB-C dock for displaying your dev boards. Our 3D printed dock is designed to stand up dev boards that feature USB Type-C connectors. We think it's a nice way to prop up our Adafruit dev boards to display them on our desk. Just plug in your favorite USB-C cable to the back of the dock and start programming. This project uses Adafruit's USB Type-C breakouts that feature plug and socket connectors. You can 3D print the dock in your favorite PLA filament. We used right-angle header pins on the USB-C socket breakout and soldered them to the bottom of the PCB. Regular header pins were soldered to the top of the USB-C plug breakout. Jumper wires made it easy to connect the 2 breakout boards together. To build your own dock, check out our full step-by-step tutorial on learn.adafruit.com. To keep the jumper wires away from the USB connector, they can be fitted through the mounting tabs. The USB-C breakout with the socket connector is secured to the bottom cover using machine screws. The USB-C breakout with the plug connector is then secured to the vertical mounting tabs with another set of machine screws. Now we can easily plug in the jumper wires to the corresponding header pins. The top enclosure can then be fitted over the USB-C plug connector and snap fits onto the bottom cover. We hope this inspires you to build your own USB-C dock with Adafruit's USB-C breakouts.
Yeah, hey, all right. You know, doesn't that make those little docks make you wonder about Beowulf clusters of feathers or something like that? It feels like a wall of USB-C nubs would be great for shanking up all your feathers. Or cutie pies, just hundreds of them. In the continued discussion about what you can fit over a TRRS line, Mooman said a PC joystick port didn't need the plus 5 volt. It used a pot to make an oscillator, possibly use the internal microcontroller pull up and make a voltage divider with that. So ground is 2 pins for 2 pots and another pin for many buttons with different resistors. I love it. You can fit so much down that TRS line. Okay, let's see. What else do I have for you today? So, project-wise, I'm not going to show off anything new. I've been working on my barbecue thermometer project, which I showed off right before the 4th of July break. I've got the code committed, so if you want to start looking at that, you can head on over to our GitHub. Let me go there. Excuse me right now, just to show you where that lives. Since I've got the, let's see, since I've got the blue screen up, I might as well. So here, if you go to github.com/Adafruit, you can search in this little Finder repository, or very often the Learn System Guide repo is on the front page because it gets a lot of activity. That's where you want to go if you're looking for code for a Learn Guide. Click in here. It's just a ginormous alphabetical list, and I mean it when I say ginormous. This is pretty much every Learn Guide we've ever made. If there's code, it's probably in here. But if you look for grill thermometer dashboard will come up. That is the code for the new grill thermometer project. And this, if you're not familiar with it, the neat thing here is that as of, I think, 9.1.0 CircuitPython, we can do both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, BLE and Wi-Fi, on an ESP32S3 board. That might be the only one. It's the one without the PS RAM, the 8 megabyte flash, no PS RAM one. On that board, you can do both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which is really interesting because there's quite a few devices in the world that are these inexpensive Bluetooth sensors, such as heart rate monitors, scales, thermometers. A lot of these cooking thermometers use a service called IBBQ. And if you want to connect those up to the internet, you're usually kind of out of luck. But with the sort of man in the middle of this Feather ESP32S3, it can pair with your Bluetooth device and send things like MQTT, Wi-Fi data out there. So in the device I have an Adafruit I/O page using the mini MQTT, and it's a dashboard that's reporting all of my temperatures coming from the Bluetooth thermometer. And these are pretty expensive. You can get them $40-50 for one that has like 6 probes coming off of it, less for smaller ones. So it's a kind of an interesting new development to be able to put these CircuitPython devices in there that are listening to data coming from a Bluetooth sensor and then sending that info along on Wi-Fi. Very interesting. Potentially, you could go the other direction. There are some commands that you can send back to those Bluetooth devices, like Bluetooth light bulbs. If you want to control those over Wi-Fi, usually you're talking about completely different types of light bulbs, but there are these really inexpensive Bluetooth light bulbs, and the range on them isn't usually great. So if you just have your ESP32 sitting somewhere near it and near enough to be on Wi-Fi, you've just opened up a whole new category of connectivity, which is pretty cool. So that's the Learn Guide I'm working on now, and then I've got a couple others that I'll get into next week. I'll start up on a new project. And what else did I want to talk about? My gosh, Lars. The next thing I wanted to do then is a new. So we've got a couple of new products. Sorry, I don't have the theme song or the unofficial theme song that Lamore does, but I've got a couple new products in. I'm just going to jump over there now. So if you head to Adafruit.com, there's usually a new products banner here. You can click on this, view all new products. That'll take you to the latest. And here's 2 that just got put in. They are coming soon, so they are basically ready to go. They'll be available soon. You can sign up for them, I believe. If you click on more info, you can enter your email address here, and you'll get notified when those come out. And Mouse says you have to sing it. New. So this one here, this is the USB Type-C power delivery dummy. It's a revision of this, or a new version of this. I2C or switchable with the HUSB 238, as well as a STEM QT connector. So what is all that? What does this thing do? Well, since I got the blue screen, let's show you what we're talking about. I don't have it. It's so new that I don't have one. But what it is a fancier version of this which I do have. So, in fact, let me get this out of the way for a second. So this is the previous version of this, which had jumpers that you have to solder in order to take USB-C from a power delivery USB-C power brick. You can extract from that all kinds of different voltages. So by default it's 5 volt, but you can get 9, 12, 15, 18, and 20 volt sent out over these two little guys right here. So I have, in this case, I'm going to zoom out. Speaking of Korg, here's a little Korg Volca sample player sequencer, and you can see there it's got a 9 volt, well, it's kind of bright, you can't quite see that. It's got a 9 volt DC barrel jack in, center positive, so I've made a little pigtail there. I can now lose that power brick, no worries, because I can give it the 9 volts that it wants just by selecting it here, in this case with the solder jumper. And then if I plug in USB-C from a power delivery brick, I'm able to give that the power that it wants. So you can see it's just playing back a little sample sequence there. So these are neat. Now, you can dedicate them to a project. It's actually kind of a neat way to add USB-C to a device that doesn't have it. So I could do most of this internally and then just have this, either glued to the back there or make a little, drill out a little hole and connect it in there. But that means I can turn this into a USB-C powered device, and it doesn't have to just be 5 volt. It can be any of those selectables, in this case 9. It can be positive center, negative center, doesn't matter. You can work all that out. However, with this one, you are limited to either selecting the voltage with I2C and a microcontroller, so a bit of a complication in this kind of use case, or desoldering some of these jumpers and soldering the one that you want. So what's exciting is this new one. That's not it. This one. This new one here that we've got coming soon allows you to use these dip switches. Oh wait, I know, I've got nice big images of these. Let me show them here. There we go. So you can see right there, I'm mirrored, so I'll have to point backwards. Oh, the camera doesn't reach that far. I've got 5 volt, 9 volt, 12 volt, 15 volt, 18, and 20 volt. All of those are selectable with the, find the image there, with the dip switches. So what you'll want to do with this is unplug your device that you can unplug the USB-C. You just don't want any power going to it while you're changing things, or you might send more volts than you want. Pick the one that you want on, just one of them. You don't have to do any combinations or anything. Just make sure they're all off, and then pick the one you want. I don't know what happens in a conflict, if the biggest one wins or the smallest one wins or nothing. I'm not sure. Lamore will know, so we'll ask her about that. But you can then change what you're using this for. So if you have, let's say, you're traveling, you got one USB-C power delivery brick and a cable. You want to run a 9 volt device, unplug it, run a 12 volt device. This will take care of you. You can still set this one over I2C from a microcontroller if you have some very specific use case. However, unlike the previous version, you don't have to just solder up your own I2C connection. You've got Stemma QT. Oh, look, I can reach to that. You've got the Stemma QT connector right there, which allows you to run that to something like a QT, and then you can control its voltage in code. Sort of a specific use, but there you go. I just noticed it does have a off switch. I don't know if we had that on the previous one, did we? No, I think that's an addition. Should I read this? Yeah, on-off switch. Hey, you can disconnect the internal pass FET by connecting a switch. Very cool. I love that. It gets better and better. So now you could have a little separate power switch for your device. So very cool. The link to that is in the Discord and the YouTube chats, thanks to George Graves. Thanks for posting those. I love this thing, and I'm looking forward to this new version of it. The existing one's cool. The new one's even cooler. I believe you'll save a little money with the other one. The new one is $9.95. The previous one, $5.95. So if you don't want the dip switches, that thing costs money, right? That's a little part there that has some cost behind it, and the STEMMA QT connector as well. So this one's the sort of deluxe one. Then spend the $9.95 and you'll get the fancy new features for that. So coming soon. You can just put your email address in there and hit. Oh, I didn't show you that at all. Sorry, I was looking at a web page and you couldn't see it. Yeah, so there's the previous one. That one is 5807 product number, and those are $5.95. But you can look forward to this fancy new premium one for $9.95. There you go. We have one other new product coming, and that is a new Cutie Pie. So this is the CH32 V203 chip. It's a RISC-V chip, and it is cheap, cheap, cheap. You can see here, this is going to be a $3.95 Cutie Pie. That's got to be our cheapest Cutie Pie. I haven't touched it. I haven't used it. I don't know much about the chip, what it supports, what it doesn't support. So your best bet, I won't just read this aloud to you, your best bet is going to come to the new products page and check it out here. But it is a 32-bit RISC-V core running at 144 megahertz. It does have some of the extras that you would expect, like ADC, timers, USB device, UART, I2C, and SPI. This does not have as much support as the chips that we usually use, so you will be kind of on the cutting edge of things like running your libraries and code on there. So if people have questions about it, you can ask in the chat. There may be other people in the chat who are more well-versed, surely, than I am on this chip. But I will pick one up and start playing around with it. Yeah, Jordy G said, I read about that chip. How inexpensive is this chip that we can make this thing $3.95? They're probably free. You can probably just request free chips and someone sends you a bag of them. That's my guess. How else? How else is it possible? All right. So let's see. What else have we got going on here? I'm going to get that out of the way there. One thing I wanted to show that I forgot, and maybe as I do this, I'm not doing this show in this time slot for too long, so I don't want to go nutty with the production on it. Maybe I'll throw in some header cards or better notes so I remember the sections that I want to do. But one that I wanted definitely to cover is the Python on Microcontrollers newsletter. So let me bring that up for you. And I'll go down into my little corner over here. So if you go to adafruitdaily.com, you can sign up for a free email newsletter. We have a number of different ones. This one is the Python on Microcontrollers newsletter. I think we previously were calling this Python on Hardware, so you'll hear those names both. You get this once a week, and Barella does an amazing job of compiling all the latest info, news, happenings, updates in the world of Python running on microcontrollers, and that can cover CircuitPython, MicroPython, Python running on Raspberry Pis, particularly using things like Blinka libraries to do microcontrollery kinds of things. So I will just give you a couple of little highlights from this one. So CircuitPython 9.1.0 has been released, along with that super cool poster there, poster image. And this will tell you a bunch of the changes and additions, updates that have come with it. I think I'm right when I said earlier that one of the changes was adding that support for both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth simultaneously on ESP32 S3. So that one was critical for my project there. They've also added audio MP3 to the ESP32 S3. That's kind of neat. Maybe I can add some sound effects to my grill dashboard sometime. Let's see, we've also got in this issue, I'm just scrolling down some other things that I saw I wanted to point out. Very cool project here that is a home assistant panel that looks like a jetliner cockpit. So nice write up there if you want to check that out. Also, there was this guy right here. This is the Tulip music computer on the Floyd Steinberg YouTube channel. He goes over this very cool synthesizer music computer project. You can click on the link there, that'll take you to it. I just am clicking here because I wanted to remember links here. Yeah, so you can go to Shorepine, this GitHub Shorepine, and that will take you to the project. It is open source. And it is I'm trying to remember which board is it, ESP32S3 that it's running on. I had planned to write that down and forgot to. Yeah, check this for details. I don't have any of them, but it is a music computer synthesizer sequencer running on a microcontroller in Python, and has a very cool display on it there. Lots of details in the YouTube video and a nice overview of it there. So go check that out. And that was it. So you can scroll through here and see some other cool things, but those were the ones that caught my eye that I wanted to let you know to especially be excited about and go check out. All right, so that's the Python on Microcontrollers newsletter. I don't have any top secrets for you. I'm sorry. I can answer some other questions before I go here. We're running close to the limit on time before I turn into a pumpkin. So let me know over in our chats if you've got any questions, thoughts, things you wanted to share. More discussion of the TRRS quandary. How much can you fit down it? So you can head over to our Discord to check that out. That's it right there, the YouTube or the Adafruit Discord. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap that up. So this has been a wild and wacky episode of Ask a John Parks Workshop. And Lars and I have enjoyed hosting you. He didn't really do much today. Toddbot appropriately asks, what's the murder puppet? I don't know. That's unanswerable. Okay. That's going to do it then. Thanks, everyone, for stopping by. I will not be doing my show tomorrow. I just did it. This is it. This was the show. There will not be a John Parks Workshop on Thursday for a few weeks, but I will be doing this Ask an Engineer / John Parks Workshop mashup hybrid for the next few weeks until the move requirements abate enough that Phil and Lamore can do this. So please bear with me. And we will be back with a deep dive with Scott, doing some Circuit Matter on Friday. Not sure if there's any Saturday shows or Sunday desktop of Lady Ada, Desk of Lady Ada. Could be. Check our blog, check our Discord. And then we'll be back on Tuesday with another product pick of the week, Wednesday with 3D Hangouts and more. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, some nice says, have a great week. I concur. Have a great week, everyone. Good night, and don't forget, that was our coupon code right there. So if you want to go, I'll get out of the way there. If you want to go and pick up some stuff in the store, get a nice discount on it, anything that's in stock, you can use that on as long as it's physical goods. No Sleep Till Brooklyn, that will get you 10% off in the store. That'll be good for about the next day before that goes away. All right, shoot. Oh, one last thing, just because I'm so excited about having my, my funky blue screen back. It's the retroreflective one. So I can use spare retroreflector material. And as long as I point a blue light at it, it does that. Look, I can switch the light to white or off or green, but when it's blue, it does a pretty decent job. Maybe this is how I should sign out. Let's do that. Bye, everyone.